Hello, it's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Welcome to Just Ask Bob Live. I am your host, Bob Assadourian. Some very special welcoming. We want to welcome all you viewers watching from your TV in the Halton area. I also want to throw a special thank you to all the essential workers, essential service providers, contractors, homeowners, anybody working outside in the heat today. This show has a goal. It is twofold. First, we want to make sure to empower you with DIY skills. As I've said it on this very network for a decade now about cutting the crooked and overcharging contractor out of the equation. We will teach you on every episode DIY skills. Doesn't matter if it's from the foundation to the rooftop. With the right knowledge and the right tools, you will get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Other half of the goal or premise is essentially if for whatever reason you absolutely refuse to get up and off the couch and you will not tackle the renovation work or the work yourself and you have to hire out. It's very important to understand that various municipalities in Hamilton have licensing for contractors. My city proudly has the Hamilton Master Building Repair License. This is very, very important because it draws a clear line, a clear distinction between what I've always called out as the crooked and overcharging contractor and the legitimate contractor. You want to absolutely make certain you're hiring somebody legitimate for you and your home. You want to make sure a permit's pulled if and when a permit is required. You know, if you follow in your mind's eye here, we all know of the contractor, the grumpy fellow. You ask him one question, he barks at you. While he's working at your home, you ask him a second question, and of course he barks louder. He may be the fellow that tracks mud inside through your home. He may be the fellow that takes your deposit, your hard-earned money, and runs with it. So for whatever reason, you're not going to tackle the project yourself. Make absolutely certain, as I always say this, that you hire the right contractor for you and your own home. Now, this show is interactive. First part of the show is a pre-recorded rental, always in response to answering a viewer's question. Second half of the show, Bob's back and he's live. So we want your tweets. You can email us. You can email us your rental questions, and of course, pick up the phone anytime during the show and call Bob. Now we're going to kick it off with an email from Owen. Bob, we live in a century-old double-bricked Hamilton home, and the current hot water tank and furnace vent out the brick chimney through the rooftop. Our furnace installer tells us that the modern high-efficiency tanks and furnaces do not require a brick chimney because they can now direct vent out the foundation. Bob, my main worry is about taking down the brick chimney and my roof not leaking afterwards. Bob, I trust you. Please help. Owen and Kim in Hamilton, Ontario. Owen and Kim, thank you very much. Now again, it's those emails, those tweets, and the phone calls that make the premise for every single renovation. We have footage from a past job site that we're going to air in a few moments, but let me take a minute to tell you Bob's 3 R's regarding chimneys. Rebuild it, repair it, or rid yourself of it. In the case of this episode, we're going to be ridding the homeowners of the chimney. And your gas people there for the email that was sent in, yes, they are correct. Modern high-efficiency furnaces, hot water tanks in most cases, and as well zero-clearance fireplaces, they do not require a chimney. I think it's been at least 15 years or longer in Ontario and new home construction when a brick mason chimney's been needed. You know, in the last few years that I can think of, Bob's taken away more chimneys than he's rebuilding the chimneys. But again, with a chimney, you need to catch it early. You know, if we talk about saving costs for the homeowner or saving an amount of work, when the mortar joints start to fail, you need to tuck point them. Tuck pointing is the masonry art of filling in the horizontal and vertical joints. If the bricks are failing further, you may have to rebuild it with all new brickwork, or in most cases, if you're lucky, the last foot or two, and also replace the concrete cap or install one if there was not one there to begin with. Now, in the case where you don't need the chimney, many homeowners want to take it down a few feet and sort of cap it with what might look like a patio slab. That makes no sense at all. Believe me when I say, if you don't need it, rid yourself of it. People ask me all the time, Bob, the brickwork on my home, why is it fine? Why am I having to repoint or fuss with the chimney every few years? One way to think about it is the chimney's a sore thumb sticking up beyond your roof line. There's no soffit and fascia or overhangs protecting it. Another problem is temperature fluctuations. Inside the chimney, you have warmth, 20, maybe 30 degrees Celsius in and around that area with the gases exhausting out. Then on the outside of the brick, 25, 30 below zero. These temperature variations wreak havoc on the brickwork. Enjoy the footage that's coming up, but I want to stress, absolutely stress, if and when you're going to get up off the couch and climb a ladder and get up on the roof, you have to be tied off. You must work safe. That's in the case where it's a DIY project. Now, if you're going to hire out, could not be more important. Make absolutely certain your contractor's licensed. Make sure they carry liability insurance in the event that the chimney topples. And make sure they have WSIB, Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage in the event that anybody's hurt. Enjoy the show. We're taking this chimney away. Homeowners have installed a high-efficiency furnace. There's no need for this chimney. Best thing, if you don't need it, rid yourself of it. It's quite a process. We're going to try to show you every single step, right from taking it to the dump and closing in the roof. Not many tools required. You'll need a hammer, a couple of taps on the brick, and they're out. Now we got quite a lot to take out. We're going to try to pick up the pace. Here's your chimney. I tell you, I must give a quick plug to these bags. Husky contractor bags. About 15, 16 bricks per bag. The toughest, strongest bag I've ever used. Now please do this maybe in the spring, summer, or fall, not in the cold of the winter. So the whole entire chimney's been taken down, it's been bagged. Now just for the homeowners to appreciate the amount of work, this was already carried from the far back end of the backyard to the back of the driveway, about 120 feet. Now we've got to load it in the truck and get it to the waste transfer station. For that, we're going to have some help from Owen, one of Triple R's finest. We call him the tank for a reason. Yep, hop in and watch your head. So for the viewers at home, if you're going to tackle this project yourself, work smart, stretch before you do the work, and use your legs to lift or you'll twist your back. These are very, very heavy. You scare me when you do that. Mr. Garcia free hanging on the tie-off. I mean, the tie-off's supposed to be safe, but boy does he scare me when he does that. Where's the tie-off anchor? For those at home, you can see. That's Andy's lifeline. Let's hope it passes all the Ministry of Labor safety specifications. It says it does on the sticker. You scare me, man.
I know, I try.
Chimney is gone on one of the coldest days of the year. It's out, it's gone. Now I'm going to take a moment to show you the next step. The next step is going to be to get prepared to weave in, well, to frame, wood frame, and to weave in shingles. So what we've got here is, at some point, somebody must have done some roof repairs. Unfortunately, they used OSB, not the best material. I'd rather if they used real plywood. So let me show you the order here. First of all, if you can see the shingles, you've got low, overlap, overlap, overlap. So let me give you an example. This is the correct way to lay shingles. Everything has to be an overlap. This is not the Center Mall or Lime Ridge Mall where they've got a flat, truly waterproof roof. Shingles are by no means waterproof. Think of it as a series of umbrellas, each one overlapping. And then you've got the shedding effect. But then you also need an underlayment. So in this case, they've installed tar paper, which stops. If you want to zoom in here for the viewers at home, that's the end of the tar paper. Not good, because from here down, if wind-driven rain is forced under a shingle, it's going to hit the underlayment. You have protection. If wind-driven rain shoots up through any of the higher courses, what's it going to catch? It's going to catch the raw plywood. And in this case, raw plywood is an overstatement. There is no raw plywood. OSB, oriented strand board, which I like to call junk. So what we're going to do here, if we look to the left, we want to make sure there's no nails in this area, because we're going to be tucking and weaving our ice and water shield and our deck arm, which is much better than plywood. So right here, everything's released. Everything's released. Everything's released. See, a mistake a DIY person would make, or an unscrupulous roofing contractor, is just lay everything over top. You can't do that. The water's going to get in. You have to start at the bottom, overlap, overlap, overlap. So under here we've got a nail. If you want to really focus in at home, zoom in. See the nail? That's going to get caught up and it's going to rip the underlayment. So it's our last nail. We left it here for the viewers at home to give you an idea on what we're doing. Okay, this isn't easy on camera, but if you want to zoom in, nail's gone. Well, one more down there. Now we're free to do our install. Beautiful tool, if you want to zoom in. Okay, before we start woodworking, you can come in close with the camera. Mr. Garcia, who's our favorite roofing shingle specialist and also the man on the camera. The chimney, we went down an extra 3 courses. So for those of you at home, let me just clean this up so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4 bricks, and the 2 side ones. If you want to get a nice shot down, this leads right into the home's basement. This is the chimney, this is our opening. Now we have nothing to frame to. We need to install plywood here. So what we're going to work on the next step is, we're going to install 1 2-by here, another one in the center, another one here. So we've got 3 points of contact to screw down the plywood. Once the plywood's down, You want ice and water shield going under, deck armor on top of that, and then we start in a staggered formation, tying the shingles in underneath. We're not going to butt them, we're going to tie them in underneath. And we're also going to remove whatever shingles are in the way. We're going to get to work because Bob's freezing. Hello, we're back at it again, continuing on here. For those of you at home, if you want to zoom in here, what we've done, we've installed a 2x at the bottom. We've installed 2x's left and right. We've also installed a 1x that we tucked under the original sheathing. And we've installed a cross block in the middle. So this is our structure, so to speak. We've cut our sheathing, which is true real 1/2-inch plywood. Just to show you how the plywood slides in. This used to be the chimney, or at least where the chimney had its opening through the sheathing to protrude out through the roof. Now, once this gets fastened, stay tuned. The next step is going to be for us to install the ice and water shield and to install the deck armor. We're working on that shortly. We've just finished installing the ice and water shield. Now this ice and water shield is a peel and stick membrane. There's actual rubber adhesives in it. So when you shoot nails through the shingles, the rubber actually, when it heats up, it coats the nail head. And if your eaves troughs overfill, they can't go up, they can't go under the ice and water shield. Now this was the area we installed the plywood, the under shield, way under, and up and under. Final piece of underlayment is deck armor. This stuff is absolutely amazing. It's breathable one way, waterproof the other way. You can actually cover your roof with this only, and you're fine for, I believe, either 6 to 8 months for a shingle blow-off. So if you have a terrible blow-off and it's the middle of the winter and it's not safe to go up on the roof, this will keep your roof waterproof. Final step is going to be the shingle installation. So keep watching. We're finally at the second last step. Deck armor, and it's all up under about 1 foot. So again, you want to create a shedding action. So we're going to put in a few nails, just a couple of nails, because we don't actually have the shingles here today. So we want to make sure this doesn't blow away throughout the night. And then up next, stay tuned, we're going to be installing probably about a bundle of shingles, weaving it in properly, and you'll never know that there was a chimney on this roof. Hello, Hamilton. We finally crossed the finish line. All shingled in. You would never know there was once a chimney here for nearly a century. Special shout out, special thanks to our master shingle installer, Andy Garcia, who did not just simply throw shingles on here. As you've seen throughout the episode, we started by removing the chimney, wood framing with 2x lumber to create some supports, some joists, 1/2-inch plywood, ice and water shield, deck armor underlayment, and then finally the shingles. So always remember our 3 R's when it comes to chimneys. Repair it, rebuild it, or in today's episode, rid yourself of it. Welcome back. Get your questions ready. 905-645-3232. Or send them by email at askbob@cable14.com or tweet us your questions at JustAskBob. Get those questions ready. Stay tuned after this short break.
Bob who? Welcome to the Just Ask Andy show.
You can visit our website at cable14.com. Like us on Facebook at Cable14 Hamilton, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Cable14. Missed an episode? Don't worry. You can visit past episodes of your favorite Cable 14 programs on demand at cable14now.com. Programs like Hamilton Eats, City Matters, or local sports coverage. Visit today and browse through all the available titles. Cable 14 Now is live, local, and online.
Hi, I'm Laura Babcock, host of The O Show here on Cable 14. And during this pandemic, while we're all staying home, staying safe, and practicing social distancing, we're still going to talk to the Hamiltonians who are making news. We'll keep having those same great discussions on important topics that matter to you. The only difference is the platform that we're shooting it on. So please stay tuned, stay engaged.
My running legs help me run, jump, and play football and basketball. Thanks to your support, the ones can help me get the legs that I have today. When I play basketball, I just feel like so happy. I just keep on going and I won't stop till I achieve what I want to achieve. My name is Sammy and I am a Warriors champ.
Online shopping. Soon it will be the way many of us shop for just about everything. And that's where we come in. Canada Post delivers more parcels to Canadians than anyone else. Canada Post, delivering the online world.
Welcome back. We have Charles on the line. Thank you, Charles, for the call. Hello, Charles?
Hello. I didn't hear anything from you.
Oh, yes, Charles, thank you. Thank you for the call. What can we help you with?
Okay, so essentially what I want to do is put insulation into the elongated cubbyhole area that is created by a structural bay window down in the basement. So the bay windows down there are about 14 feet wide and about 4 feet deep, and then they angle in on the side, so in the front part they're about 10 feet. So what I want to do is to be able to install insulation into that area. Now, to make it a little more complicated, about 4 inches into the main room downstairs, there's a wire going in front of the cubby holes, and also when they run the boards there, the beams, they put a second beam just to go from the front to the back of the structural area. So I'm just wondering, how would I approach that?
Oh, it sounds to me like in some of the area you have good space. In other areas there's limited space. Is that correct, Charles?
Well, in some in some areas there's a little bit of space, but I mean this is a long thing, and I have to go back about 4 feet, and I don't know how to hold that up 4 feet into that space.
So the access is also difficult.
The access is difficult. Yes.
Would you be able to shoot spray foam in there?
I guess I could put spray foam, but that's not my first choice, so I'm just wondering if I could do it the other way.
Well, I mean, as far as, let's break it down into the two different types of ways to insulate. There's your bats, generally speaking, and then there's spray foam or solid styrofoam. Now, the bats, you have choices. I would avoid the white or the pink. It's nothing but itchy. It doesn't do much to stop, heat transfer or loss of heat. I would recommend Roxol because you also have a level of fire protection. Roxol is a very, very good product. Now, if you're limited with space, shooting spray foam in may help. Not necessarily just the ones you use by cans. If you call in a professional company, they have the means and the equipment to get into tight areas. More of a DIY project as well would be if you could use actual styrofoam sheets.
Oh. The styrofoam is sort of iffy for fire, though, isn't it, too?
Well, yeah, the styrofoam would have to be covered with, if it's exposed to the interior or exterior, would have to be covered with, I believe, 5/8 drywall for fire code.
Oh, okay.
But it's good you're thinking of insulation. I mean, I know we're on what might be the hottest day of the year today, but it's never too soon to be thinking about the upcoming winter. Charles, what I ask you to do is, yours is definitely a little bit of a complicated situation. Are you able to send me pictures?
I could later on, yes.
Okay, at the end of the program, my website will be up. You can email me easily through the site. Please send me a couple of pictures at varying angles and a little bit of background information. And you've got my word. I will follow up with you and try to get you more detailed, comprehensive information. But the pictures would help. I kind of get the idea of what your situation is, but really I would need some pictures to give you more information.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Thank you so much for calling. We have an email now. Hello, Bob. When tuck pointing my home's brick walls, how deep do I have to chisel out the mortar? This is from Chuck in Ancaster. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the email. As far as the depth, it's very important. I've said this many times in the past. This definitely applies to masonry work. If you don't have penetration, you have nothing. I tell homeowners all the time when they watch me working on their homes, or if I'm DIY, teaching them and giving them examples, whether it's the joint, vertical or horizontal in your brickwork, or whether it's a crack in your concrete foundation. If you don't chisel it out and you just apply some type of mortar or cement, that's going to fall out within weeks or months. Doesn't work. Now, specifically as far as the depth, I would go in at least the 3/4 of an inch to an inch, because you want that penetration. You want it to get in there and you want it to stay. You want it to last. And good luck. We have another email here. Bob, what type of mortar do you recommend for laying blocks? This is from Stephen Hamilton. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, sir, for the email. If you're laying block, I would use Type S. Type S has high strength to it with regards to wind resistance, so structurally, it's going to protect the block. Now, Type S, you better make sure you've got some gloves on. It will want to eat away at your skin much more than a regular mortar mix would. So I'm really glad, you're investigating, you're asking these questions, because not every masonry product applies to every type of material. So there, you have to research. I've said it many, many times on this network. Knowledge is power, and the rest is simply having some motivation, being able to get up and get off the couch. Thank you, though, for the email, sir. We have another one here. Dear Bob, my electrician, who I assume is licensed, added some extra plugs throughout my home, and also 2 outside plugs. I watch your show and remember how you always say that the homeowner should be given some type of paperwork from the contractor or utility stating the electrical work was inspected and passed. Is this correct? Jennifer from Hamilton. Jennifer, thank you. Fantastic question. Now, not quite correct, but let me clear up some information. It's not the utility, it's the ESA. So for all homeowners out there, whether you DIY it yourself or you bring in an electrician, make sure you understand what the ESA is. Electrical Safety Authority. Electrical Safety Authority of Ontario. That is the provincial governing body that regulates all the wiring in your home. Now again, not to confuse things, City of Hamilton or City of Burlington or Oakville building permit, that's what you need for the general renovation. The electrical work, separate permit, provincial. Now, your contractor, again, I'm hoping he's licensed, but let me explain now. If he's legitimate, and only if he pulled a permit, he does have to give you a copy of the ESA, either rough-in pass or the final. So it depends now. The Electrical Safety Authority may have deemed it inspected and not physically come to the home for the rough-in. However, for the final, they should show up at least 1 out of the 2 times. It'll be paperwork, it'll be labeled from the ESA, it will have your electrician's information on it, and that's very important paperwork that you file away. Now, if the electrician was moonlighting, So let's assume he's a master licensed electrician, but he's not a contractor. So he may have done your job on a weekend or on a holiday. In that case, forget it. You're not getting an ESA pass. To get an ESA pass, he has to be a licensed electrical contractor, or else the ESA does not recognize him. Now, as a homeowner, feel free. Contact the ESA. I believe it's 1-888-ESA-SAFE. Bob's been baking in the sun today, so that number may not be accurate, but I think it's very close. Either way, look it up. Call the ESA. Your home, your right. Find out if a permit was pulled. If one wasn't, there could be some trouble. But for future work, and for all of you out there watching today, for the viewers, make absolutely certain when your electrician works on your home that you have a copy of the pass and that you want it done legally with a permit. Hi, Bob. What is better, PEX or copper water supply piping? This is from Zach in Dundas, Ontario. Well, Zach, great question. Let me give you an analogy now. Let me paint a picture for you. So you move into your new home. The entire house is PEX. Start in the basement, end to end, north, south, east, west. Follow all the PEX, because if it's a new home, at least the basement should be unfinished. Now, on the main floor, you're not going to see much PEX, except maybe under the cabinetry, underneath the kitchen sink. Second floor, same thing under the vanities. Now, go back to the basement and locate yourself just outside where your garden hose bib is. So the garden hose connection. You're going to find that the builder's plumber transitioned. So again, here's the key now. The plastic PEX piping stops. They make a transition to copper. The copper goes through the concrete foundation. Now, I'm no scientist, but when I look at that, I think to myself, you've got 99.9% plastic PEX water supply in this home. Why 12 inches penetrating the foundation? Abrasion. It may rattle in there. It may move in there even so slightly. So obviously the designers of PEX and even the plumbers and the builders, they're smart enough to use old school copper going through the foundation. So again, that's my way of answering your question of what is stronger or maybe necessarily better. However, it comes down to choices. Anything built in about the last 10, 15 years, maybe even longer in Ontario, everything is PEX, everything's plastic. The more recent one, you have nothing to worry about. Maybe 15 years ago or longer, there was some type of PEX they were using, and there was a class action lawsuit against it. So generally speaking, the PEX is fine. If you live in older Hamilton and your home is already plumbed with copper, if you're doing additions or extensions or renovations, stick with the copper. If it's a new home and it's PEX, what can I say? Stick with the PEX. Don't forget, this show is live and interactive. 905-645-3232. Pick up the phone, call Bob, or email us. AskBob@cable14.com, or tweet your questions at Just Ask Bob. We're taking a quick break. Get those questions ready.
Why should you stride for the general?
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for me.
Stride for patients who rely on the care at Hamilton General Hospital, the Regional Rehabilitation Center, and St. Peter's Hospital. Walk or run this September for our virtual event and make a vital difference on the front lines and beyond.
I am Larry Deani, and I'm the host of In the Hall, Cable 14's Community Affairs program, which always brings you a focus on important issues happening in our community. We are during a pandemic period, and I'm hoping that you're doing everything that will keep you safe. But I do want you to know that we have new content. We bring you the decision makers to talk about issues in our communities. Please join me.
Hi, I'm Laura Babcock, host of the O Show here on Cable 14. And during this pandemic, while we're all staying home, staying safe, and practicing social distancing, we're still going to talk to the Hamiltonians who are making news. We'll keep having those same great discussions on important topics that matter to you. The only difference is the platform that we're shooting it on. So please stay tuned, stay engaged.
When I was young, I was plagued by fear and self-pity.
My life was in shambles.
At first, I never drank on the job, but eventually I did.
Removing alcohol wasn't enough. It left me depressed. That's where AA offered a solution.
I remember sitting in the AA meeting and thinking, I finally found a place where I belong.
AA not only keeps me sober, it helps me live a much better life.
If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me.
And for me.
And for me.
Welcome back, everyone, and we want to especially welcome back our new viewers from your TV, the Halton area. And we have a caller on the line. We have Robert on the line.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Robert. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good.
Quick question, long story short. I was going to fix a few bouncy deck boards I had in the backyard. And when I started to pull back the deck boards, I noticed there was a lot more rot than I thought. So long story short, I've had to rip out the entire deck. So I'm going to build again. I'm going to build out right from scratch. And the previous owner built the deck himself, and he used 2x6 joists. Now he spanned them over 9 to 10 feet long.
Oh wow!
And I'm curious how far I can safely do a 2x6, or should I go up to a 2x8? My deck is about 16 feet wide by 20 feet long. It's going to be.
Okay, so he spanned the 2x6 well over 9 feet.
He came off of the house. There was a support joist in the center, and then went all the way to the other. So there was only one midway support joist. Now, he used 2x6 deck boards as well, so I don't know if that helps strengthen.
Well, that does add some strength, but I would not have spanned that with a 2x6. Way too weak. Now,
Okay.
any sizes I give you, Robert, it's definitely subjective without design drawings and to verify it. But behind me, to my left at least, can you see the Ontario Building Code book?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very important. That's sort of the Bible of the home rental span tables. In that book are all the spans. Unfortunately, I don't have them all memorized, but I can definitely tell you a 2x6 I wouldn't use. I would think it would definitely fall in between either a 2x8 or a 2x10.
Okay, so now I'm taking it upon myself. I'm having someone come dig proper post holes for me, and I want to put 9 in. So how far in from each end should I cut? Like, how much overhang should there be? I've heard about 1.5 feet.
Yeah, you're talking about cantilever now.
Yes.
Sort of the diving board effect. Cantilever in structure and construction is the amount of a laudable hangover without having support. You're not far off. I mean, you're thinking about a foot or so?
I think, I wouldn't, I just looking, I'm no expert. I call myself a DIY hero from what I see on TV, so this show definitely helps. But
oh, no, I mean, compared to a lot of work I've seen contractors do, believe me, sounds like you know what you're doing and you're asking the right questions. Generally speaking, again, without checking the span tables and the guides, a foot to a foot and a half seems fine. Now, you mentioned, though, that the past homeowner, they used 2x6 for the deck boards as opposed to the 5/4. What are your plans for the top boards?
To save money, I'm going to probably go with the 5/4.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I'm going to need bigger than 2x6 joists. Mind you, if I have them spanning a less distance, is that going to allow me to stay with the 2x6, or do I have to go to an 8 or a 10?
Well, again, it depends. If the deck material at the top is thicker, that does give you more strength, but generally speaking, you're still going to be on 16-inch centers for the joists. And I would always stay away from 2x6s, either a 2x8 or a 2x10, either one, depending on the design.
Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. And good luck on the project.
Thank you. I'll keep you up to date.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Bob. With the help of family and friends, we want to build a deck. How small must it be to not require a permit? Elizabeth from Hamilton, Ontario. Wow, I get tons of these. For some reason, everybody wants to avoid the permit. Elizabeth, let me start this way, because I want to encourage the permits when required. I was talking to my own customer some time ago, and I was doing some estimates, and this is how I explain it to people that are afraid of permits. There may be apprehension in trusting your contractor, and rightly so. Think about it. The permit and the city inspector may actually be there the whole time to protect you from your contractor. If the inspector sees something's going wrong, inspections are failing, this is not being done properly, not only may the city potentially, shred the contractor's license, but they're also required by law to inform the homeowner. Again, now the permit is jointly owned. Homeowner's information on the left, contractors on the right. So please, always keep that in mind, that a permit can save you from a bad renovation, and the city's just there to do their jobs. Now, to the specifics of the question, it's sort of twofold the answer. The deck must be under 100 square feet and also not attached to the structure of the home. So you can't build a deck 99 square feet and expect to bolt it into the home and get away without a permit. The reason being is, your home already exists. Your home's there. Everything should be fine with the home. Once you take a deck and attach it to the home, it now becomes tied together. It becomes a part of the structure. So, if it's not bored in the ground properly and it's shifting and moving, it could then tear the structure or damage the home it's attached to. So again, less than 100 square feet, not attached to the home, you don't need a permit. Hope that helps. Another one here. Bob, do I require a permit to replace my window with one wider than in my home? Larry from Hamilton. Thank you, Larry. Now, Larry, I hope, again, you're not nervous about the permit. But again, it depends. For whatever reason, homeowners at times have apprehension. And generally speaking, it's not the cost of the permit. Permit ranges anywhere from $200 to $300, depending on what the value of the job is. So again, it doesn't always matter that way. The window, let's look at the structure now. Let's assume the home is brick. So you've got your brick going up. Above the existing window is an angle iron or a steel lintel. That carries the weight load of the brick. Behind that, on the inside, you have a wood support beam. If you take out that window, you can put anything smaller, anything skinnier. The support structure's already there. If you're going wider, yes, you need a permit. You also need the design drawings or have a designer draw them, and you need inspections. Because you want to make sure, see, the city, homeowners get upset and they may think, this is my home. What do I need a permit for? I'm the only one living here. I'm staying here forever. The permit, future-proof, protects the home. Because let's look at now, sweet young kids that get married and they buy a home. But the people that owned it before, the last 3-4 owners, violated law left, right, up, down, and center in that home, and there was never a permit. But those people who thought they lived there forever decided to sell and move. Now this young couple moves in, structure's been compromised, wiring's been compromised, the place is a mess. So the permit law, city inspects it to make sure that the home is not only safe for you, the current occupant, but also for future occupants. So yes, wider window, yes, you need a permit. Sorry about that, Larry. Another email here. Good day, Bob. My contractor tells me not to worry that he does not have commercial liability insurance because he will directly pay me if he causes any damage to my home while performing the renovations. What are your thoughts on this, Bob? Adam from Dundas. Wow, Adam, I don't know how to even respond to that. I've got to laugh. So he promises to pay you if he creates any damage. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, life has changed. Do you realize there was a day and age when you didn't need 2 or 3 deadbolts on your front door or the night latch? Times have changed. I prefer to have things in writing than have somebody's word on something. Now that's me. I'm old-fashioned. I'm old school. No, I mean, if you're going to pay money and hire a contractor, he or she must carry commercial liability. Let me give you an example now. It's a small job. You know, you've given them a deposit. Let's say the final balance owing is $1,000. And let's use a chimney, for example. So the chimney's being worked on, brick by brick, it's being built. There's an accident up on the rooftop, and a bunch of bricks tumble down right through your minivan's front windshield, side right and left rear view mirror, the hood. They've really banged this thing up. You take your minivan to the body shop, you get some estimates. It's about $5,000. Probably likely double that, but let's just use $5,000 for an example. You turn to your contractor now, but remember, you still owe him or her $1,000. They've cost $5,000 damage to your minivan. Do you honestly think they're going to hand over the $5,000 and then in return they're going to expect the $1,000 from you? They may take off. No, I mean, in reality, there's also more serious issues where your home can be burnt down. And you may have some issues with your insurance company because when an insurance company investigates a claim, they want to make sure every I was dotted and every T was crossed. And you missed both there by hiring a contractor without commercial liability insurance. So please always begin these jobs on a good foundation, which means all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed. Don't forget, get your home rental questions ready. 905-645-3232. Pick up the phone, call Bob, or email askbob@cable14.com, or tweet us your questions at Just Ask Bob. Stay tuned after this quick break.
You can visit our website at cable14.com. Like us on Facebook at Cable14 Hamilton, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Cable14. Missed an episode? Don't worry. You can visit past episodes of your favorite Cable 14 programs on demand at cable14now.com. Programs like Hamilton Eats, City Matters, or local sports coverage. Visit today and browse through all the available titles. Cable 14 Now is live, local, and online.
It's just another $1,000. This investment's a sure thing. You're so sweet. I'll return your bank card next time I see you. Sign the check or find someone else to look after you.
No one should ever pressure or trick you into giving money. Learn the signs of financial abuse of seniors. Visit seniors.gc.ca. A message from the Government of Canada.
I am Larry Deanne, and I'm the host of In the Hall, Cable 14's Community Affairs program, which always brings you a focus on important issues happening in our community. We are during a pandemic period, and I'm hoping that you're doing everything that will keep you safe. But I do want you to know that we have new content. We bring you the decision makers to talk about issues in our communities. Please join me.
Mom, here's the mail.
Thanks, sweetie.
Mom, can I grab $20 from you today?
Yeah, sure, that's okay.
Cool, thanks.
Welcome back. Before we take more questions, we want to show you an upcoming clip of next week's episode of Just Ask Bob Live. Welcome back, Frank. Teach the viewers now all about undercutting, the trade work and the skill involved to undercut.
Yep. So when you're installing your flooring, the thickness of your flooring, you got to take that into mind. So your jambs for the doors, normally they'll go all the way to the floor. If you're installing your flooring, make sure that you undercut them so that your flooring will go underneath. If you hire a contractor and he stays out too far and then decides to caulk this, that is not the proper way to do it. Always cut down your jambs so the flooring goes right under. Look how nice that is. So now I'm going to show you the tool that we used to cut the jambs. This is a Milwaukee oscillating tool. You have to keep in mind, this bit needs to stay flush with the workpiece. so that when you go, you cut a nice flat line all the way across. If you arc up, when you go to put your flooring in, you won't get the flooring all the way in and you won't get a good piece. Now I'll show you how I cut it.
Welcome back. We have an email from Amanda and Jamie. Hi, Bob. Firstly, we are glad that you are back in studio. We always enjoy learning new tips and advice from your show. We want to replace my current laminate floors in our home. We are debating if we should replace them with laminate or vinyl. Keep in mind, we do have a little Yorkie in our house, so he is more scratch resistant than the other. Oh, which one is more scratch resistant than the other? Amy and Jamie from Hamilton. Thank you both. Thank you so much for the email. Definitely hands down the vinyl. Absolutely amazing product. You know, if we break the two down, especially specifically for having pets and moisture issues or even below grade in basements, laminate does come in a variety of qualities. However, the laminate is essentially wood or wood pulp in it. It will not hold up. I like to say that it's almost a cheap impression of a photographic impression into the wood itself. Now, pet damage and scratching, it will happen very soon. It doesn't take a lot. If you install, and there's a lot of different names for it, some people call it vinyl planks, other brands label it as luxury vinyl flooring. It's very, very high quality. They've removed 100% of the wood product from it. So it will not scratch or scratch easily and absolutely not affected by water at all. I highly recommend it. And good luck. Another email here. Good day, Bob. My husband and I are expecting and are wondering if there is a safe paint to use in our nursery that is either zero VOC or low VOC. This is from Shannon from Hamilton. Thank you very much, Shannon. Now, for those of you at home that are not familiar with VOCs, that is volatile organic compounds. Now, think about this. That brand new car smell, it could actually be slowly poisoning you. Volatile organic compounds will emit from products that are, well, I don't want to say cheaply put together. In some cases, yes. Actually, in building construction, a lot of the cheapest products will off-gas more than high-quality products. So you want to be very careful about that. But specifically for your nursery, Bob strongly recommends Sherwin-Williams. They have a line that is zero VOC, that's zero volatile organic compounds. So very important that that's not going to be emitting anything that could, bother the newborn. So it's all about research, but also it's not just about the paint. Cheap kitchen cabinets, cheap flooring. We're just talking about vinyl flooring. Look for vinyl flooring that is low to zero VOC. Look for kitchen cabinets that are built with plywood as opposed to OSB. The oriented strand board, which is what OSB is basically pulp and junk under high pressure and high heat glued together. It's that glue that will off-gas that will poison you. Same with cheaper lines of carpeting, and on and on and on throughout anything in your home. So always, always be educated and shop smart. Another email here. Hi, Bob. Can you please recommend a primer that will seal water damaged drywall? This is from Nancy in Ancaster. Thank you very much, Nancy. Good question. I wholeheartedly recommend Zinsser. Now, I'm sure Sherwin-Williams also has something just as good, but I'm much more comfortable and experienced with Zinsser. Zinsser is absolutely amazing. I know of homeowners that had ceramic tile backsplash, and instead of taking down the tile and changing it, cheap, quick alternative, they want to paint it. The Zinsser actually stuck to the glossy tile, sealing it, then the people were able to paint it. So as far as fire, smoke damage, graffiti, doesn't matter. Very, very, very good primer. And it is available in latex, easily washable. They also have an oil base, I believe, but look into it yourself to be sure. Thank you for the question. Another email. Bob, is pressure-treated lumber safe to use inside my basement to support my water pipes against my foundation for the laundry tub? This is Sandra from Hamilton. Sandra, no. Absolute no. Pressure-treated lumber, I'm sure it's the modern stuff now. It's safe for playgrounds, for children's areas and whatnot. But especially, I hope it's not the original, the old style pressure treated. That stuff has a lot of arsenic and more poison in it. But generally speaking, one of the reasons there is a safety provision for exterior children's playgrounds, decks, fences, is again, the stuff is made safer with less chemicals in it. However, outside, it's in the exterior. So that's very, very important. The air can move around. If it's in the basement, use regular wood. Now, it's very important for those of you at home to know, this show airs every single Tuesday live, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Always get your home rental questions ready. You can call them. You can tweet them. Oh, we've got a quick question. Hello, Bob. My home currently has 4-inch cast iron waste stack drain, which is both the drain and the venting pipe. It only serves as the drain for my upstairs bathroom, which is a 3-piece bathroom. My contractor wants to replace it with 3-inch ABS, and I worry that it will clog if it's not replaced with 4-inch ABS. Please provide your thoughts, Bob. Barb from Hamilton. Barb, no need to scrap with your contractor. Bob approves of what he's telling you. Let me explain it this way. I realize, maybe you're old school. Maybe you believe bigger is better, and in some cases that's true. But the situation is the minimum size of the toilet. So if you flip a toilet over, you're looking at about 2 5/8, 2 7/8 to 2 3/4. That toilet's not even 3 inches underneath. So I don't care if you put a 15-inch sewer pipe in your home, a cast iron vent waste stack, no matter what it's made out of. The smallest choke point is what will clog. So the toilet being less than 3-inch, the toilet's going to clog regardless of if the new piping is 3-inch or 4-inch. Now, if you have that pipe feeding several bathrooms, or if it's a commercial installation, that's a different story. But from what you're telling me here, 3-inch is perfectly fine. Now, in closing thoughts, make sure if you hire out, make sure the contractor's licensed. That's critical. If you do it yourself, what can I say? Watch this show and also visit our database. Largest database on the net, www.justaskbob.com. Again, that's www.justaskbob.com. See you next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thank you.